myself, Tejas Joseph. We run an incubator called FIRE, Forum for Innovation, Incubation, Research and Entrepreneurship. To give a context, right? Like for me personally, this is a happy moment, because while we started this 4 years back, we had an assumption saying that we have 7,000 plus hotels here, more than 1 crore people traveling to this place, numerous travel agents. If we want a real sandbox to build anything, world-class products related to tourism, where else we should go? And if you can do it in Goa, our thesis is like, if you can do it in Goa, that can be replicated in any other tourism geographies, not just Goa. It can be, Singapore, Hawaii, Bali, Maldives. This was our concept 4 years back. Like at that time it was COVID, and thanks to COVID, I would say, for one thing, I'm thankful that it was much easier to have a conversation with the stakeholders about the importance of technology. Yeah, now the whole influencer thing is also happening. It's a good thing for us to say that, hey, why don't you use some technology to mitigate certain things? So what we learned quickly, right? I don't want to get into a lot of details, but we got a chance to work with Goa Tourism, India Tourism, and a few of our startups even went to Singapore Tourism Board and worked there. One of the things which came out really well, this is one of the oldest industries, tourism, hospitality, and we are talking about innovation. Finding a middle ground is a difficult thing to start with. So we thought travel tech and hospitality are going to be the innovations that are going to change Goa and everything, but most of our innovations are related to sustainability for some reason, because that is one piece where everyone is ready to have a conversation. Like people are talking about waste management, biodegradable packaging. There is a recently one startup we funded. They actually measure the alcohol content in a bar. So you pour, and as a bartender you're pouring a lot, but as an owner you can see how much pegs or how much is being poured. Now when they started that as a concept, and what happened is they pivoted recently. They got funded by Geo Next and all. What happened was, like, one of the biggest challenges, like the kind of waste that's being produced in hotels and restaurants. As an owner, I don't know what's being procured, all those things, right? Now they build, it's a very cost effective. We're talking about just 15,000-20,000 rupees. You can know how much raw material is being taken, how much being produced, how much being wasted. So we are talking about not recycling, it's more like a pre-cycling kind of a concept. Before producing only, you're actually solving that issue. So we see a lot of innovations related to sustainability that came into this picture. And I can say that, it's all good, but one thing I can clearly tell it, any ecosystem in the world, it takes minimum 10 to 15 years to build that ecosystem. So if you talk about tourism tech today, say 3-4 years of effort, whatever it is, it's going to take another decade to mature. We cannot there's no shortcut there. And one thing we realized in Goa that can work well at niche markets, like if it's a niche, there's a customer base, we are going to make a lot of money out of that. And that's going to be the trend. And in terms of the habits of Gen Z also, they're not going to have a checklist of 10 things. We have noticed that they want go to one place, sit there, experience that, all the cuisines, culinary, those kind of things. And one unfortunate thing is, like, a lot of startups from outside are coming and taking that advantage. When Ralph sir came and told about the story of anti-establishment and why the hippie culture and everything. We are talking about all the Steve Jobs stories here, all the right things are here, the diversity is here, density is here, and that hippie culture was here, like everything is here, but unfortunately that's not being leveraged by the system here. So I wish more, youngsters come into this play where everything is here and the support system is also here. The stakeholders are here, as we are funded by Department of Science and Technology. We are a not-for-profit institution. So all our initiatives are to make sure that you are actually building a product. We have certain funding, but please don't come to this place for funding. That's the only thing. Come for the right reasons, like Milind was also telling the same thing, which is our experience also. 80% of our inquiries, I have an idea, can you fund this? We said, we cannot fund this. Then I have a different idea, can you fund that? So it's like, it's also as a profession, right? It's not like going for a job, it's equally important to figure out whether you really want to do that, irrespective of funding is there or not. Long story short, we have lot of, one of the hottest topics we figured in 2025 is going to be all these AI agents, DeepSeek or whatever those things are happening. One thing is going to be the hottest is like, anyways, a lot of middlemen kind of jobs are going to be automated using ChatGPT or AI kind of things, right? But what are the areas where human intervention cannot be replaced? And what are technologies that can be used to make sure that's enhanced? More like, soul traveling, because of the right example there, when I read that in Y Combinator, one of the hottest topics is like, you cannot replace a human touch thing. Can you enhance with technology? So we are also looking for innovations like that to make sure you are not removing anything from the hospitality or travel or tourism industry, but to make sure you're getting a better experience using technology.
Second, marinas, ये सब नहीं है इंडिया में इतना आगे इतना अच्छा कोस्टल स्टफ होते हुए भी. And third one is यहाँ पे जैसे Maldives, Seychelles यहाँ पे जैसे sea huts और cottages ये सब भी नहीं है. So why all this not? Big resources, everything over here, but ये सब क्यों नहीं है?
I'm not sure whether we are the right people answering this, because this is more about tech and tourism.
But आप लोग यहाँ से related ही है, so कुछ तो होगा ना मन में कि क्यों नहीं है, why?
See, it's your wish list.
लाएंगे भी हम सभी, तो क्यों नहीं है ये सब?
नहीं, सभी यहाँ पे रहेगा तो आप वहाँ पे कैसे जाओगे?
नहीं, पर इंडिया वो हम ऐसा सोचेंगे तो आगे ही नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे ना.
Say like for example, if every place has got a beach, right? Then why they will come to Goa? Right, but I think just to answer that point, I think whenever there is a feasibility in that particular requirement, right, I think someone will come for it. Like for example, Marina project is planned down in Vasco. Okay, so I think there are sometimes a lot of local challenges because of which certain things don't happen, right? But they have done something on that lines recently. I think in Vasco, if I'm not very wrong, I'm not very sure though. But there is one project on Marina which was planned down there. Which was the other thing you were asking? Okay, the big cruises. There are cruises. So there are quite a lot of cruises which are coming down here. There are a lot of tour operators in Goa which are catering to a lot of international tourists which dock at Mormuga Port Trust. Okay. There's also Cordelia cruise which is actually having trips to Lakshadweep via Goa. Just that it will drop you back in Mumbai. No, yes, I think, see, there is an opportunity everywhere. So I think those opportunities, why certain things are not there, maybe we are not the right people. We can only suggest that, there is a requirement. As I said, I felt that, we should have placed like Universal Studios in Goa, which will be a reason for people to come down to Goa with families. Disney World, mini Disney World or, Universal Studios, which will give a reason for people to come down with families. But if the thought process that I have, if it aligns with many others, or someone sees value into it, then it will happen. See, Goa anyway is very limited on resources. Land is one of the key constraints that we have, right? We don't want to flood our rivers. As is with the casinos, there are a lot of other challenges that we're dealing with, right? So I think everything will have its pros and cons, and there are right people probably at different levels who are deciding what to basically approve. If you know anyone who would have interest in doing this project, then there is an investment promotion board through which you can route that application, and then I think they will facilitate in doing any of those, or there are forums through which you can give those suggestions to them. I think we can only appreciate the thought and support in whatever way we can, but I think we will not be able to, at least I may not be the right person to explain why it is not there.
I think, yeah, there's one question coming, yeah.
Okay. Shortly, I can tell you one thing for sure that
last question. Okay.
ऐसे वाले जो developments होते हैं, Marina, cruise liner is great, everything, but जो वो beach के ऊपर cottages जो आप बोल रहे हैं, they are great developments, but please remember that all developments cause destruction. Every development, there is no development in the world which cannot cause destruction. Simple. The question is हम कितना development करें और कितना डिस्ट्रक्शन करें, उसका बैलेंस बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. इन गोवा आर कोस्टल रेगुलेशन जोन इन इंडिया एक्चुअली स्पीकिंग, ये जो देयर इज अ बॉडी कॉल्ड कोस्टल मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी, सो दैट दोज रूल्स आर वेरी वेरी स्ट्रांग. ये शायद वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट रूल्स इन द वर्ल्ड एग्जिस्ट इन इंडिया. उसमें वायलेशंस बहुत होते हैं, no doubt about it, but frankly speaking, countries like Maldives and many others, and I can take their names because that's not my country, they blatantly violate the nature. Okay, it's great to have a thing on the beach, but it completely erodes the ecosystem. There is no doubt about it. I am happy, not happy both, but happy in a sense that we are protecting our nature by that way. But controlled development can happen, but still there will be destruction. But controlled development can happen, and I'm sure government, there are bigger authorities who are thinking about it in a constructive manner, I would say.
Yeah, I can just add one innovation that's happening, you know, like for example, post-mining ban, there were some barges which are not being utilized. So there was a thought about converting some of them into co-working space, you know, so co-working space on a river, which is a wonderful idea. So there are people who are thinking as to what will work for Goa, right?
When the mining stopped.
Yeah, so I think there are people who are definitely thinking what would work and, you know, how it could attract the right set of people down to Goa. So I think we will appreciate to what you have, and I think hopefully something like this will definitely be there.
So I'm also based in South Goa. So as you are a director of a hotel, I believe you are facing a problem where locals are not allowing the tech to come into the cabs. So as a cab owner or a fleet owner, if I want to get tech into my company, so what are your suggestions from this forum, what I can take back and use it in my business to get the tech in my cabs or buses or in my fleet, which won't disturb the local, what they say, local carriage, and which will help the tourist also, which will be more convenient, more reliable for the tourist and for us.
Basically, you're trying to say keep Goa miles aside, keep Ola, Uber, everybody aside. Only tell me my business kaise chale.
No, it is not, see, if I take company's name, then it is a bit controversial. They'll say, I cannot take company's name over here, I cannot take hotel names over here.
Absolutely.
So I'm keeping it very simple. It's not only for me, it's for all the cab owners over here.
100%.
Who is not located at the coastal belt. So see, I'm located in Marg, 6 kilometers from coastal belt, but I'm not allowed to do business at coastal belt. So my vehicles are not allowed. So basically, what we can do to take AI or tech into our business, and what is your suggestion? How can we?
Okay, firstly, again, we all talk about taxi problems and etc. in Goa. Again, everything has a good and bad side. The good thing is that the tremendous amount of trust or trustworthy taxi drivers, at least in my hotel or the local hotels that we have, because they're the local villagers who are running the taxi. I know all 12 of them or 17 of them personally. I know their family also. So when I put my guests into those taxis, they're expensive, no doubt about it. But there is a tremendous trust factor, and every hotelier will agree with it. Yes, it is more expensive. But again, more expensive means it's in comparison to something. Now that we are comparing this with possibly Bombay or any other metro city where it's 20 rupees per kilometer, it is possibly 70 rupees or 80 rupees a kilometer. But that's also true in London. I mean, London cabs are very expensive. It's a fact, it's an expensive. So that's the way Goa is. Again, I'm not supporting whether this is right or wrong. In principle, taking the choice away from the customer of deciding who is wrong, in principle. But at the same time, safety is also important, and I think Goan taxis are very, very safe and most safe in the country. One of the safest in the world, possibly, number one. Number two, in terms of technology, it's just a business idea. Maybe you can speak to the government. A taxi hub can be created. Maybe local villagers can be invited through technology, through intervention, where guests can choose your taxi from the taxi hub, and the local taxi will transport the guest to the taxi hub. I'm just thinking out of the box. Maybe that can be created. But Goa Miles is one of the options. You can possibly register where you can be called, and Goa Miles is generally not refused in any of because it's a government supported activity. I think more and more taxi drivers should be a part of the Goa Miles, so that the customers have a choice to use Goa Miles or use the local taxi cabs. Both are good. So maybe that's good.
I think so. Like you go to any metro, you have a choice. I mean, every taxi has a choice of switching to a Uber or a Ola or any XYZ. So that's the type of a choice one should have, even running a business of your own. If I am a cabbie, I can have a choice of what's better for me and I can choose between it. It's not that, it's no point opposing technology, because if you are asking to suggest technology, then I think Goa Miles or Uber or Ola or any other, like a taxi hub, what you're talking about, if that is something which is introduced by the government, then I think so that's something.
But Goa Miles, I'm saying because the government supported.
Yeah.
We need to support what's supported by the government, as simple as that.
So, firstly, I'll really appreciate that you've come up with this question, because solving that issue is very important. And what I feel is, though, replicating whatever is happening in Goa, I mean, I'm against banning any, or as Mangresh said, opposing someone doing business in a particular place. I think what is also very important is start it somewhere. Like, I understand that currently Goa, Uber and Ola are not allowed in Goa, and probably for foreseeable future it won't be. But now you have an idea to kind of, create something at certain levels. I would actually, have you started at some level, because if there is one place or two places where you can convince the local taxi unions to kind of come on board with this, and it finally, it is profitable for them in the tech way. So the basic tech will be similar, where you kind of provide a cab to someone on an app, right? But if that can be implemented at one hotel, two hotels, three hotels, and probably then move on from there, now I feel the question is of implementation, because if you can crack the tech, and I think a lot of companies would be able to provide you with that tech part of it. If you can implement that idea in maybe a couple of places, that can grow from there, saying that, okay, it is grown in Goa, like finally you don't have to oppose certain things, and then build it from there. Again, I'm not saying you won't have problems, because even Goa Miles have their own problems when they come to pick up certain places.
Goa Miles is accepted in most areas.
Okay, because personally from experiences point of view, a lot of our experiences currently are, a lot of people find the travel there more expensive than the actual cost of the experience, right? So we are also facing a challenge there, because public transport also needs to improve overall in Goa.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but see, what I want to say is, see, when you're registering with the Goa Miles, or I want to provide something to my clients which is luxury, which is premium, yet it is affordable. As sir said, had concern of safety. So when we are providing them, as he knows all the 12 cabs at his hotel, so when I'm providing my cab at a so-and-so hotel or a random hotel, so how can we use tech to make my company or any other company reliable to the hotel, or that any hotel has that believe in us that their guest will be safe in our cab?
No, the problem here is not you or not me. The problem is the war between technology and politics. And the war and the problem is that we need to make sure that technology wins over politics. But time will tell.
So I can just add, since we are talking about technology and you are asking how technology can help. See, one is you have to create your product, okay, which is innovative. Okay. Second, use technology for promoting that product. And I think if you can refer to some of the rickshaws which are in Mumbai, right, or any other place, which create a fancy rickshaw, and people are actually wanting to travel in those, right? So just while I was listening and your queries that was there, thinking through, maybe you can create a different kind of alternative to its modified vehicle that you have. It talks about something in different, people have a different feel. So people, when they come to Goa, they put on the agenda, I want to travel in, what's your company name?
Lapak Tours and Travel.
Lapak,
yeah.
Okay. So maybe just Lapak Goa. I'm just giving you things, it's on my list. I want to go and visit. How do you do that? You create social media. Awareness. You create a lot of branding around it. You reach out. You identify who are the people staying there. Their mobile, since they are in Goa, should also get your ads coming in. So just these are ways you can adopt technology. You can invest in the right marketing, and then you become a brand. So anyone who comes down to Goa will come looking out for you. And you can say, this is the area, I'm taking you around this particular place and dropping you. So those are business ideas for you to think about and see how you want to scale it. See here. So you can actually tie up with them straight here, say that that's something you're giving in your itinerary, stay with Planet Hollywood. You're building relationship. Then amongst all the other taxis, he's going to have you also into that. And then, all his tours, wherever their starting point is, like,
Adil,
you're going
right?
to basically drop with him.
I'm already, sir, I don't know if sir knows me, but he's using my coaches for
Wow, that's great. Okay.
And the hospitality also, in holiday
Yes.
inns we are sending our vehicles. I
Planet
own a fleet
Hollywood.
of 20 Planet Hollywood.
Yeah.
PH.
Other thing I'll also suggest is, see, there are a lot of corporates that are working, right? And then after 6 or whenever the office gets so, they need to go back home. You could probably offer this to corporates as a service. You
So
know,
he's
for-
talking about giving service to open destinations.
We had,
So
we actually had, when we worked in shifts, pre-COVID, we had our own vehicles, we had tied up with people who were actually, we picking up people from home, we were dropping them back home, but then post-pandemic and work from home, we had to stop all of that, right? So I think there are many more who are still, requiring such kind of service, so explore that market for yourself.
Okay, Adil, I'll
you,
invite you
sir.
for another session next time. We were
100%,
supposed
sir.
to have
Thank you.
Utkarsh Dabade, the CEO of Goa Miles here, but he could not make it. He's in Mumbai. So next time, if he is there, I'm sure he can also guide you what's the best possible
Yeah.
way to.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More than a decade. So one thing is that Goa has 2x population of travelers coming to Goa. That means if there is X living in Goa, you have 2x traveling to Goa. So first thing we should possibly see is that there is an anti-tourism movement which is going on across the world. We should not come to that stage like, places like Majorca. Well, Majorca is I'm talking about Majorca in Spain, and there's a tremendous amount of tourism backlash that is going on because the government possibly hasn't done a capacity building exercise, whether the beaches, our areas have the capacity to have or hold so many tourists or not. So the first top layer should be in which area, how much should be done, should be spread it. It's like infection control should be, I'm not saying, it's those thought process I'm talking about. So do you let it spread or do you contain it? So those things, and what kind of tourism do we want? Do we want to spread it throughout the year? Goa is already a 365 days location. Or do we, do we contain it during a particular time? Do we want, for example, to achieve a particular number and to sustain tourism, do we create opportunities like, as you said, work from Goa or technology convention or convention centers? Or do we have, or is it a wedding destination we want to focus on? The question is that through the technology is a mindset. And Varun has gone into, he's gone into tourism, but his technology mindset has given him the scientific approach to approach tourism like that. It's a mindset, as simple as that, scientific mindset. So through that mindset, possibly we should approach the thing. What do we want? What do we have? What do we want? What do we foresee where the entire trend is going to, and how do we fit in sustainably? That exercise is the first exercise. All are topical questions, whether, all are topical questions. I think that a clear path and thought process is very, very crucial, and technology is available. All of you are available to provide the government a lot of studies, a lot of data to assimilate and, distill information. So I think that's the first thing.
Absolutely. So before we go to the audience, the last words from Varun.
Okay, I think everyone is working from Goa. The government also has a lot of chance to work from Goa. So I think that's a great opportunity because there's so much data. And I think both the gentlemen, Mr. Anand and Milind, covered most of the topics here. I think I'll keep it very short. I think one thing is, and one thing that GCCI is doing really well is involving private entities with government and trying to help build that up, because I was a part of a couple of tourism committees. I understand that some people will have certain expertise in certain areas, right? So Mr. Anand, with his hotel experience, can actually share so many insights which can be then replicated across. So I think that is very important, where they work with in partnership with the public entities or the individuals who are a part of the industry. And second thing, a lot of times what happens is we end up copying things. Like as a destination, we're like, okay, this is working great here. We just end up copying it directly and making sure that, okay, we replicate it here. It doesn't work that way. You need to put your own mind and kind of create certain things out there. So I think if that mindset is kind of integrated, and of course with technology being available at such an abundance in Goa, actually 300 plus IT companies in Goa, right? That can be utilized in such a big way, and I think you're doing a great job with bringing tourism and technology on the same platform, having that conversation. I think that really needs to, have young people integrated into this system. Like also Milind mentioned about people making their careers in Goa. They've kind of learned, they've understood this. Now it is time to actually implement these things in the industry and not in the US or not probably, in a Bangalore, but probably doing it in Goa itself. So kind of providing that system to happen, I think that will change the whole way how tourism is going in Goa as well.
Cool. That was awesome. Okay, so let's go to the audience. Can I have Ashwini? Can you pass one mic? Please raise your hand. Anybody has any questions? Yeah, please. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen. My name is Eldon Fernandez. Me and Abhijit are partners. We want to get up in a new entrepreneurship role. The question which I have actually does not pertain to our role as such, but more of a speculative kind of thing. Mr. Chatterjee, I heard that you had mentioned AI and agency. As a science fiction fan, I see that the coming singularity is what you're trying to refer to, and that is a word. And as an interesting overlap with your particular industry, there was a series on Netflix which explored a hotel bearing an AI with agency. That's a spoiler warning, of course. Do you foresee a parallel and important sector or regulatory authority that would promote safeguards like a more enhanced cybersecurity, customer sensitivity, transparency, collective responsibility, or job implementation and the security in such an event that would happen? Already we have bad actors as agents in the field. This also covers a cautionary tale in technology implementation, I feel. Mr. Ralph did say that technology can only do so much. This question is open to the other speakers as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I think by 25, 26 kind of a timeline, worldwide we should be able to see I don't know who will lead it. I'm not sure on it, because WTO is kind of almost non-defunct organization, all the Ws in the UN worlds. But somebody in this, it's broadly written. I mean, Sam Altman, Satya Nadella, Elon Musk, as he's pronounced nowadays, Elon. So they are working on it. There are already a constitution or rather preamble which is existing on the AI ethics system. In fact, in the sense, as an anonymous person, I have written a paper on that particular thing also on the AI ethics system. So I think 2 years time we should see it. In India, in terms of data protection, of course, it's coming very soon. We will have it soon. I mean, it's definitely very, very important. It's imperative, otherwise it's going to go absolutely, it possibly already has. Possibly it's already gone out, untamed. But if we do not tame it now, it'll, as you said, the agents or the agency aspect will definitely spread. Maybe it's already spread. So, yes, yeah. Because you're taking information, right? AI is already thinking information which is existing. So that means it's open. It's the nodes are already open. Nodes are not closed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you.
You need to understand that a country like UAE has already accepted that AI is going to be there for some time at least, and they have made a minister of AI. So in the central ministry, they have something called as Minister for Artificial Intelligence. So what's the forward thinking? Yeah.
I think as was also mentioned initially, we had only Directorate for Information and Technology, to coming to a point wherein we have Minister for IT. I think that's where the evolution is, and I think very soon while they are adopting, it's about we will require to have someone who will oversee responsible AI. I think that's what I've been advocating again. I think it's going to be need for a responsible AI. There will have to be proper education at every level. Like for example, for us, security was very important aspect that we had to roll out. And there's a way we had to roll it out. We had to start by making sure we agree as to what the security protocol is going to be there. Then make sure that every team member is educated on it. Then put a certification in place for them so that they are doing that entire proper certification. And then make sure that we're revalidating it on regular basis, right? Because when you're giving confidence to any of the third-party user whom you're doing back office work for, it's very important for you to make sure that you are compliant to all of this. And this is be mandatory for most of the people who are working with vendors now. They're going to ask for a compliance, and they're going to come and check some of the things you're doing, because I think it's going to be very, very important. The countries are going to be asking more and more for data to be residing in their geographical locations and not remote. I think that's the next big thing that's going to happen. India is already in talks with many people that, do it in India, keep it here, our data will not go out. And that's where I was mentioning that, there are options that the tools are providing today, which by default are turned on to share your data. Like ChatGPT, for example, you're allowing it to be used by other LLMs for processing. If you put it off, it does not get shared. It's just within, your threads. So I think it's very important that education is there with every individual, and we as employers or an individuals should make sure that we are doing it very responsibly as part of an education or upskilling program for every individual, including the children at home.
So understand another challenge out here is, we are also adapting to something called as the new education policy, and the colleges and the academic institutes are also facing a lot of these issues with ChatGPT coming in picture. During our engineering times, we used to take 2 weeks to write one assignment that to copied. Okay, and now if you give one assignment, they give it in 15 minutes. Now teachers have to do plagiarism checks. Okay, so that's the challenge which we are facing. Okay, next.
There's also a tool for finding that out. So I think teachers can be empowered. So there are ways. So you ChatGPT, I think you get the first draft. Then there is another tool which will make sure that it is well copyrighted. So if you learn a right way of giving a prompt, you can actually write it in a certain language, which is very much to the way I write. So I think all of that is possible to teach that system, and then it will give you your assignment, which will be different than others. Today, if you give that same topic one-liners, everyone who will present will have similar kind of assignments. So you know that, okay, this has come from some system.
So the first question I want to ask is, when you mentioned about the air gap. Oh, my name is Abhijit, first of all, and I have a company called 5PM Studio. So it's a design company. So hypothetically, say if somebody comes up with a company or a product like that, and we call it as data gap. Okay. So here's the thing, when I have a data cage on me, I won't be able to give my data to anybody else. That's going to protect where I go, what I do, everything, right? That was the plan. Now, if I'm able to cut that off, how will the people in the tourism right now who are working from the data, like even the hotels, the influencers, like you said even earlier, if some influencer is able to influence what you're going to do, that kind of habits will work if my data is getting protected. And as a country, as people in this country, we get the data, we get the technologies so fast running from one person to the other. We are so tech savvy right now. It's going to pick up, definitely, because I want to protect my data right now. So how will that affect the hotels or the other industries in the tourism that work on data if something like that comes out? Something called as a data cage, hypothetically. And the second question to Arun is, I'm talking about in design aspects. Right now we are looking a lot of things which are written and data which goes out to people. How do you think we can implement the digital aspects, like design, concept, or creating a different environment based on what you are giving in this tourism sector right now in Goa? So how can we implement that in uplifting the tourism just for my state, that's Goa?
So, DG Yatra? DG Yatra is one of the first apps in the world possibly, which uses this, sorry? Yeah, face detection is a step in the entire thing. In the entire flowchart, it's one of the steps. But in terms of technology, DG Yatra is one of the first public apps in the world which uses, it's called sequesters data if I'm not wrong, where DG Yatra is not storing any data. Okay, DG Yatra takes your validation of, firstly it does your validation through your retina and your number, and that's it, and delete. It stores that you are validated and it forgets all the other data because it is not even taken. There is no cloud, there is no local server, nowhere it's this thing, it's saved. And when it scans your boarding pass, it only takes the information of the airport and time of entry, that's it. Only these two things on the real time. When you connect, open the DigiYatra app at the airport, open real time, it connects and lets you go. So DigiYatra, unlike many other identity tools, it's called sequestering. I'm not getting I think it's called sequestered storing or something. Of course, it uses the blockchain technology also. How is it stored? So these kind of solutions, as you rightly said, in terms of data caging, where you are on Instagram, you're on other social media, but you are traveling from X to Y, you're exploring the way you want to, but your privacy is protected and it's controlled by you. It is not an overall blanket authorization you have given to the technology which can use these. So these will come up, and hotels, tourism, or any other industry who adapts to, you're going back to the first question, who adapts to these things will be possibly having a edge over others more than anything else. I mean, for example, like, somebody had a TV, this hotel has a TV, was a big thing, but this hotel has these things, will be a big thing.
No, I mean, that was a part of it. I thought somebody has come up something called, I can audible, right?
Yeah, you are.
So there's actually something called as an unplugged phone. So that basically protects entire data, even if you use social media, everything. So basically my data will go to the influencer. Definitely that's happening right now. Through the LLM or through the agents, you are able to take out the data and gets sold to somebody or somewhere. So if eventually from one person it gets picked up to the two, and from two it goes to 200, from 200 it goes to 2000. So definitely will be shortage of data, right? And that's what I'm saying, how will the hotels or the industry, tourism industry, will try to come out from that?
So that's the beauty of it. Our industry, the DNA of the industry is human touch.
Yeah.
So in a way, hypothetically, as you're mentioning, it's a good thing that our almost forgotten skills will be used. For example, 20 years back, I had to remember, I was a great hospitality person if I could remember your name and the face, and even if you have to come back after 1 year, I know that, you've come back after 1 year, I know that how's your father now, because he told me last year that his father was possibly not well or about to go through a surgery. So those skills will come back. So that's the luxury. That's the definition of luxury. Yeah.
I'd like to add something to Anand's response as well. So it's not just the data that the industry caters to, but what the customer needs are. So even when data came in, right, a few years ago, data was the big thing. Some companies adapted to it and thrived. When this happens, there will be companies who adapt to it and thrive. So finally, it's the customer need, what customer wants, and accordingly, whoever kind of modifies their way of, doing business, they will. So we won't be able to tell you the actual solutions what will come in. But if that thinking goes on, then there might be some people who actually come out with solutions for it and probably be leaders apart from the others in the industry. Talking about what we do at Soul Traveling and how design aspect can be integrated there. So at Soul Traveling, we have a curation team. A team which is looking after only new curations and existing curation. So the whole goal of this team is to make sure they go to the hosts, the local hosts who are there as a part of team, curate new experiences and make sure that they are done in such a way that they are kind of finally pleasing to the customers. So if you explore our website or something like that, there'll be concepts around which our trails and experiences have been curated. So you'll have something in nature, something in culture, something in food, something in heritage. So it's kind of trying to cover something which everyone wants in Goa, right? Something apart from the casinos for now and forever, I would say. But that's the kind of goal, to create a system where you can kind of explore Goa based on different concepts and taking it slow. So for example, a trail in Shorrow will take you 4 hours in the journey of Shorrow through nature, through birding, through boat ride and stuff. So there are various elements within this which are local hosts, which are kind of used for storytelling, and there I think design aspects come in a long way. For example, we have local tavens that we visit, and I think we have explored quite a few together. But there itself, how to present the Feni that comes out of Goa. I think someone like Hansel Vaz has done it very well. He has taken something like Feni and put it in at the world level, where he has presented it in a very beautiful way. So right from the way when you enter, you have a nice grazing table there, or how you are kind of introduced to Feni. I think that makes a big difference. So in this point of view also, there are a lot of people who are getting to know their impression of Goa through his experiences. So if designed and presented well at each level, I think that whole impression that people who think of Goa tourism can go really to the next level. So I think integrating it there on how things are done at each of the experiences, I think there's a huge scope there in terms of integrating design, I would say. Apart from this, you have all the other aspects which businesses have, like social media, like storytelling, and I think storytelling is the main way where design comes in to picture. So yeah, I think that is.
I think so. Varun is the best person who can really do storytelling, because all his trails have stories, and the best part of it is I can vouch that he's a great design person and a curator, because.
Thank you to all our esteemed panelists for such an engaging and insightful discussion. Your diverse perspectives have truly enriched today's event, and we are grateful for the time and expertise you have shared with us. Before we bring this event to a close, I request Mr. Mangiris Salilkar to give the mementos to our panelists. To Anand sir, to Milind sir, to Mr. Varun, and to Mrs. Pallavi Arundekar.
We had a very engaging talk today, and first of all, I must laud the attempt of Future Tech Leadership Forum to create an awareness of, I didn't know we had over 300 techpreneurs in Goa. So thanks so much for that. Of course, thanks to our keynote speaker, Mr. Raul D'Souza. He says we've started, tourism from brick and mortar, literally all businesses from brick and mortar. And now we are going to a tech-driven world, and technology, as we have all heard, has revolutionized something like travel so much, travel and hospitality, which was basically based on the human touch. So tech has gone everywhere, thanks to Mangirish and Milind Anvekar and the gang. Now I must thank all our panelists as well. Mr. Anand Chatterjee, he's spoken on smart tech and also how the definition of smartness has changed over the years. Hope we stay smart enough so that Homo sapiens remain irreplaceable. We also thank Mr. Milind Anvekar, Mr. Varun Hegde, and the moderator, Mr. Mangiri Salilkar. All of you have really added to this talk so much with your wealth of knowledge, and have patiently taken all the questions also. So thanks a lot. We also thank our support partners, Future Ready Tech Events and Umang Company, GTA. Milind Anvekar is there, ASOCHAM, and Prime Media Goa. Thank you so much for covering this event for us. Things are changing. Change is the only constant. And we are looking forward as Chamber and as Chamber's Tourism Committee to having incredible journeys with all of you. And here I must add that with all this tech around, we always need to have a balance. And that balance is shown by something called soul traveling, where with all the tech-driven world, people are yet seeking that difference where they cut off from tech and go on a journey with you, Varun. So let's enjoy that.
It's truly an honor to stand before such a distinguished group of industry leaders, innovators, and forward thinkers today. I'm Ashwini Nagekar, Administrative Manager at Umang Group, and I'll be your host for the day. As we step into this exciting journey to explore navigating the future of travel, tourism, and hospitality with technology. Technology has become the backbone of nearly every sector. Tourism and hospitality are no exception. Whether it's streamlining operations, enhancing customer experiences, or enabling businesses to operate more efficiently, technological advancements have proven to be a game changer. But as we all know, with innovation comes a challenge. How do we ensure that we keep up with the pace of change? How do we navigate this digital landscape without losing the personal touch that has always been the hallmark of hospitality? And perhaps most importantly, how do we use these advancements responsibly to not only enhance business profitability but also support sustainable growth and to create positive experiences for both travelers and local communities? We will be grappling with these questions today as we hear from experts, innovators, and leaders who are already leading new paths in this space. We'll explore the challenges that lie ahead and the tremendous opportunities that technology presents to shape the future of travel, tourism, and hospitality. Without further ado, let's begin this journey together. Thank you for being here, and let us look forward to the rich discussions and valuable connections that we will all make today. Now, I request Mr. Mangirish Salilkar to invite our keynote speaker, Mr. Ralph D'Souza and Mr. Sanjay Amonkar on the dais. To begin our proceedings, I would like to call upon Mr. Mangirish Salilkar. He is a dynamic first-generation entrepreneur and CEO of Umang Group, a leading business group in Goa specializing in software services, co-working spaces, and tech events. With over 20 years of experience, Mr. Mangirish has significantly contributed to Goa's tech ecosystem, founding the Goa Technology Association in 2017 and earning awards such as Goa Times Entrepreneur Award and the Young Manager Award by the Goa Management Association. He serves on various prestigious boards including SOCHM's Goa IT and ITES Committee and NASCOM. A computer engineer graduate, Mr. Mangirish also holds certifications in strategic management and business law from the London School of Business Administration. He is known for his leadership, collaboration efforts, and commitments to promoting innovation and entrepreneurship in Goa. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Salilkar to deliver his welcome note.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see all of you here, enthusiastic to learn about what's happening with technology and tourism. We've got great experts from the industry here today who are going to speak about some things what you may have heard, what you may have less known or not heard at all. So let's hear from them as we go about this session. But let me tell you what's this Ftlf all about. So it's Future Tech Leadership Forum, which was launched in 2023 by Honorable CM Dr. Pramod Sawant. We had a launch that time, and we had great speakers across the nation who were there for that event. We had a lot of tech, non-tech entrepreneurs from Goa who were there. The attempt of Future Tech Leadership Forum is very simple. The attempt is to educate the non-tech industries of Goa about what's tech happening in Goa. There are a lot of tech companies, IT companies in Goa. If you ask me the numbers, we have approximately around 300 plus IT companies in Goa. Nobody knows about them. This is one of the forum where we want to educate you guys about this is what we have in the tech industry of Goa. The attempt is very clear. The attempt is sometimes the pharma, you may talk about the tourism, travel, we talk about retail, we talk about manufacturing. We have a lot of huge new tech industry, new non-tech industries which are happening in Goa, who are not at all aware about what's happening about tech in Goa. So this is one attempt where we want to tell you that we have the full capacity to work, automate, make sure we can digitize your systems. This is a forum where we want to make sure that we can network together. We can tell you this is what change what we can get for a small state like Goa. Taking ahead, it's a privilege today to have Ralph sir. Ralph sir was a part of our launch session 2 years ago. This is a second, we call it as a talk 2. Talk 1 is what you will find a glimpse on Prime TV's YouTube channel, wherein we will see we had focused on another important sector for Goa, which was healthcare, pharmaceutical, and the medical. So we spoke to a lot of experts who shared their opinions, their knowledge, and suggestions how we could really take their sector or uplift their sector using technology. They were talking about how their sector is changing, and that's what we will hear from all of our experts here on the topic about travel, tourism, and hospitality. We've got excellent speakers. We will know them better as we go ahead with the session. But nevertheless, I would like to thank all of you for being here and making sure that and I'm sure you will learn something or the other today from this session, and make sure that you network also towards the end of the session with the speakers. We've got people who have built their systems in their businesses using technology. There are experts here who have used technology to build somebody else's systems. And we've got even others who know everything about technology, yet they know how to limit themselves with technology, yet they're going great with their businesses. So let's hear from all these people. And we also have Ralph sir again, as I said. I want to hear from you, Ralph sir, about the evolution of this entire. You have been one pioneer of this industry. You are one person who can really share with us about how has been the tourism industry earlier, how is it today, and how has technology attempted to shape this industry. So thank you very much, everybody, and I'll come back in the next session as the moderator.
Moving forward, we are privileged to have with us an esteemed leader and industry expert, Mr. Ralph D'Souza. He is the chairman of the D'Souza Group, a business house engaged principally in hospitality business, owning resorts, travel agencies, and tour operators. The group also owns a construction company and service apartments. Mr. D'Souza is on the Board of Governors, Government of India Ministry for Tourism's Institute of Hotel Management, and is the past president of the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mr. D'Souza is on the Board of Directors of EDC, where he is also the former task force member of the Chief Minister's Rozgar Yojana, the microfinance body of the state of Goa. He previously held positions as the chairman of the Goa America Heart Foundation Trust, the president of Travel and Tourism Association of Goa, the chairman and patron of Goa Heritage Action Group, a trustee of the Museum of Christian Art, and was the past chairman of CII Goa Council. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ralph D'Souza to deliver the keynote address.
Yes, as I was asked to talk about the past, how it all happened and what went. There's a little bit of an article I've written called The History of Tourism of India. It was published in the Chamber magazine, but I can resend to any of you all if you all want to know how it all started and where we reached. This is started somewhere in 70s, right up to 2000, I think it covers. Very interesting things, not much of statistics, no numbers, no jargons, but just how it was, because that's how the industry is. It's people's movement, started by the people, started in a little village of Anjuna when the hippies came in, thanks to Time magazine, Life magazine, and those days after the Woodstock festival in the United States and California, flower children, they all moved into Goa because they were anti-establishment, they were sick of development, they wanted to go back to nature. That's how it all started, and there are others who came to see them, and it evolved, and we are where we are today. Coming back to today's topic. Today's world is of Gen Next, where young India is leading its way for innovations and technology that enables them to take charge or steer the progress. You might wonder what a grey-haired gentleman like me is doing in a session like this. Yes, I have been in hospitality business for past 37 years. A proud member of brick and mortar generation. But now, a new generation is being gradually ushered in, and our generation is moving into oblivion. Thankfully, we need to rest. Today, what's happening is because of the tech-driven world that we are facing. Innovations and rapid technology advancement have reshaped the hospitality industry today, bringing about a complete shift from the conventional management methods to technology-driven solutions. This session, Listen, Act and Excel, is tailored to sensitize you to a new business paradigm and equip you to face challenges with each solution presented by the AI world. Today, the source of knowledge and repository of facts and statistics are right in your hands in a form of a tiny little unpretentious cell phone. This tiny yet powerful device allows you to retrieve information and share your messages and opinions with the entire world in seconds. Apps like WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter enable you to access global information and communicate with the world instantly. In an interview with Paki Sharma Upadhyaya, Anand Mahindra described Twitter as the most amazing business tool, stating that it allowed him to gather feedback from 11 billion people through a single platform, and that too by a press of a single button. In today's world, the hospitality industry cannot survive without the support of IT industry. In 1960s, airlines introduced computerized reservation systems to simplify ticket bookings. This was one of the first examples of how technology could make the travel process smoother. By late 1990s and 2000, the internet brought a revolution. Traditional sales and marketing executives have been replaced by IT professionals. And conventional offices have given way to laptops and cell phones. Your website has become your primary forum for influencing customers. It serves as a direct interface with potential customers, helping you capture and enhance your occupancies and your rates. Websites also act as a powerful marketing platform, elevating the visibility and status of your products. Online travel agencies, the OTAs, have emerged as the most successful sales platforms. Their sophisticated tools not only market our services, but also provide a transparent platform where customers can compare rates and make informed decisions about their holidays. Hotels' positioning and ranking are now heavily influenced by guest feedbacks collected through platforms like TripAdvisor. These reviews, from satisfied to dissatisfied customers alike, are crucial in shaping the hotel's reputation. AI has revolutionized how people plan their vacations. From choosing destinations to booking accommodation, everything can be done from the comfort of your homes. With a vast array of choices, tailored options, and competitive deals displayed right on your smartphone's phone screen, the traditional methods of travel planning seems antiquated. Platforms like Expedia, Booking.com, and Airbnb make it possible for people to plan and book their trips with just a few clicks and can design seamless and tailored trips independently, all from the comfort of your homes. Conventional travel agencies, tour operators are facing a decline. with only older generation and select conservative group travelers availing their services. The rest of the population now familiarizes and purchases their holiday packages online. Even travel fares are more about human interaction and socializing, as all necessary product information is readily available online. We go beyond marketing, and AI plays a pivotal role in procurement, offering access to the best quality and prices, while helping business analysis to outpace competitors. It keeps every aspect of hospitality industry aligned with the demands of today and tomorrow. Almost all departments in the industry now rely on AI, accounts, stats, occupancy charts, guest feedbacks, inventories, and if they are efficiently driven by AI, and hotels cannot function without these inputs. As someone who has been in the hospitality business for close to 4 decades and a traveler for 30 years, I've experienced both sides of the table. I understand the pros and cons of IT technology in replacing traditional methods. Technology has significantly lowered the entry barrier to the tourism industry. By reducing costs and fostering innovation, it has encouraged young entrepreneurs to bring fresh ideas into market. Small hoteliers and tourism players who previously could not afford sales teams and marketing offices now have access to IT tools that bridge the gap between demand and supply. This technology has been particularly beneficial to them, addressing mismatches and enhancing their competitiveness. One of the most exciting aspects of technology's role in the industry is its impact on sustainability. As climate change becomes a critical concern, the travel and hospitality sectors are stepping up. Airlines, for example, by using AI to plan routes that minimize fuel consumption, hotels are adopting energy-efficient technology and promoting eco-friendly practices. Looking to the future, the possibilities are endless. Space tourism is no longer a dream. Companies like SpaceX are already making it a reality. However, with these advancements come challenges. The risk of over-reliance on technology, which could diminish the human touch that is so integral to the hospitality, can be compromised. Unlike other industry, hospitality depends upon the human touch. It survives on the human touch. This is my experience. When people are to travel the oceans and come to India, because 2 of my hotels are almost 100% with international tourists, they come here to experience a good word and a smile from somebody. And this makes the difference. They go happily as good ambassadors, and they are the people who send many, many, many more. The machines can't do this, technology can't do this to you, but humans can. The smile is priceless. We should just be ourselves, and it's nothing tailor-made. We started hospitality in our houses. When our best friend or a favorite cousin came, our parents looked after the cousin and we had good fun. And that's what hospitality is all about. Take this to a hotel and you are a winner. I remember years ago in one of my hotels, it was, I just went to visit, I rarely do now. It was month of January when there was a slight drizzle. So very sweet receptionist, she was happy with the guests and they were leaving. She said, have a great day. So I said, stop here. He's paid money to see the sun and it's raining outside and you're telling him to have a great day. How can that be possible? I said, just say, I hope the rain stops so you can have a great day. This is the difference in hospitality. It touches your heart. So, technology is great, but it cannot replace the human touch. Once in Helsinki, I remember I checked in six of us had gone. We checked in a hotel. First of all, we arrived half an hour before 12 when the key wouldn't work. It was totally faceless. So 12 o'clock, bang on time, the door opened after we pushed the key card inside the slot. Inside, everything was technology driven, everything was found, there were instructions. We did not see a single face, and we left a comfortable stay, but we missed the human touch. So, years ago, in Germany, they invented a machine, stamping machine in the post office, that stamped at an angle wrongly, because it's so uniform. And this machine would make the same mistakes that a human made while stamping those stamps. And people thought that, yeah, this was hand stamped and hand delivered. Made a difference. But to sum up, technology has taken the travel and tourism and hospitality industry to new heights. It has made travel faster, easier, and more personalized. But more importantly, it has helped us connect deeply with the world, creating opportunities for sustainability, inclusivity, and innovation. Talking about inclusivity, again, going back to 70s, we had the inclusivity right then. When we had the first visitors, there was not even Directorate of Tourism, there was a Director of Information and Tourism. So tourism was just a byproduct of Department of Information. There was nothing. So when these people came and visited, the hippies came and visited Baga and Juna, the fishermen there, one of the thatched huts or small shanty houses, one room they gave on rent, and when they used to cook for the family, they used to cook for one plate extra or 2 plates extra to feed 1 or 2 mouths, and that's how it all began. Your pilot taxis started then. The infrastructure was created by the people. It was never state driven. There was no post office on the Anjuna beach. There was one milkshake fellow called Joe. They used to call him Joe Banana because he was very famous for his banana milkshake. And all the addresses, the letters that used to come, so and so care of Joe Banana Anjuna, care of so he was the post office, official post office of hundreds and thousands of letters coming from all over the world. So these were the infrastructure that was created, and this is what all inclusiveness is all about. We always had it. And how we expanded, how we brought in the facilities on need basis. If we find out what is actually required and provide this to our visitors, we are winners. So this is exactly what had happened, and that's exactly what this took Goa to the great heights that it experienced. Right up to 2000, 2005, we were among the 10 most sought after destination. Millennium among the 7 or 8 destination to spend a millennium. So all these things did not come it was not a flash in the pan, it was built up with human touch, human relations. But today, with human touch and human relation, properly put together, we can come as winners again. Today, IT and hospitality industry are 2 sides of the same coin, or 2 blocks of the same plow. They complement each other in every way. Having started my career decades ago, I find myself outpaced by the rapid technological advancements in the industry. As I said earlier, this is the era of Gen Next, and I'm happy to pass the baton to younger, tech-savvy generation, like my son Kalush Noyal, who's taken over, and who, like all other youngsters, will continue to lead this ever-evolving industry into the future, taking full advantage and blessings of the technology and the constant breakthrough, but keeping human touch in the forefront. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure addressing you all. This came straight from my heart. Not very technical. I'm allergic to jargons and statistics and all. I just say things, what I've experienced over the years. And there is a great potential in this industry, especially with the help of IT. You are competing with everybody else in the world on a level playing field, and that is important. So all the very best to you all, and I have a very good session. You've got great guys going to in panel discussion, members of panel discussion, and I'm sure you will enjoy your evening and go back with lots of new things to think about.
Thank you, Ral sir, for that insightful keynote address. Your deep knowledge and experience have provided us with valuable perspectives, and we are truly grateful for the time and wisdom you've shared with us today. I kindly request Mr. Mangiri Salilkar to present a memento to Mr. Ralph D'Souza. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Sanjay Amonkar, a seasoned professional with over 30 years of experience, including 22 years in leadership roles in procurement, logistics, strategic sourcing, production, and commercial functions in the fertilizer industry. Currently serving as the Director General of the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a member of the State Expert Appraisal Committee for Environmental Clearances, and an auditor on the Goa State Pollution Control Board. Previously held senior roles at Zuari Agrochemicals Limited, managing supply chain operations, port logistics, and SAP implementation. Expert in optimizing supply chains, vendor management, and bulk cargo handling with a focus on cost efficiency and operational excellence. Skilled in SAP and team leadership. Following this, we will proceed with our much anticipated panel discussions. Over to you, Sanjay sir.
Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as you know, was established in 1908. We are in 116th year of its existence, and we are the, I would say, voice of industry in Goa. On the days, we have my mentor, Ralph sir, our immediate past president. Thank you, Ralph sir, for that wonderful lecture. He's got his unique style, and the humor in his speech makes it more interesting. With your permission, sir, I will cite one small example of what happened yesterday. Good one, sir. We were meeting one senior gentleman from abroad, and we gave him a proposal, and we wanted his affirmation. So normally somebody would say, I asked him see such thing, and he agreed to do it. Ralph's style is when we put the proposal to it, luckily for us, the gentleman nodded his head in the right direction. So so this is the right direction. So this is the way Ralph sir put it. I thank my friend Mangirish Salilkar for having this second talk here today. Mangirish, as I know him for last few years, he has got a passion for technology. He's a technological driven man, and he tries to share his knowledge right from the nursery right up to working people. So anywhere you go, maybe colleges or schools, you see him speaking to children, trying to give information regarding technology, and thank you for that. The chamber is very happy that we have participated along with you in this thing. I am not a tourism related person, but technology, yes. So I can talk a little bit of technology in tourism. Ralph sir already said about the key trends which are already existing, like personalization or sustainability or immersive experiences. One more area which looks interesting is contactless travel, where you get biometric authentication or mobile payments. This is, and also smart destinations. IoT also is going to play a big role now in tourism. A lot of opportunities also are there, but early bird catches the worm. So the people who are already into it have already taken the chunk of it, and it's become difficult for other people to grab that opportunity. So, but opportunities will happen because our population is growing. The most important, which I feel, I'll take 2 minutes for this, are the challenges which we are facing in tourism. You must have heard around a week or two back, there was one racket which was busted, wherein there was a parallel sites made by hotels, and they were getting bookings done and fooling people. So I will narrate 2 incidences which I came across just last week. I was in Mumbai, and I was staying at a place, and I wanted to change to another hotel. So I went on this booking.com, and I booked one place close to the international airport, one hotel called Arial or something. And I was busy, so without checking, I booked the hotel. And then in the night when I came back from my function, I found that the reviews on that particular website of that hotel were not good. So I was a bit scared. I called the hotel also, so there was no response from the hotel. I also got more scared. So 2-3 calls I made. After some time, I got a call back saying that I'm customer service of that hotel. One guy is telling me, says, yes, I had booked it and I want to know whether my hotel confirmation is still there. He's telling me, हाँ सर आपको जरूर हम confirm करेंगे. एक काम कीजिए, आप मेरे को WhatsApp call कीजिए. A WhatsApp call, live WhatsApp call. Then he's telling me to share the message, message which I have made the payment. The bank message you send me on that WhatsApp call is saying. So that was immediately cut off. And when I reached the hotel, I found the hotel to be excellent, no problems. Located very close to the international airport. It was somewhere in Marol area. And no, I told the hotel also this is happening, and you need to be careful on this. You check your website and how the information that I have made a call to you reached a third party. So that is dangerous. The second one was regarding again taxi services in Mumbai. I use an iPhone, and my wife also uses an iPhone. So my daughter had warned me that there was a rumor in Mumbai that if you book Uber or an Ola from the iPhone, 100 rupees or 200 rupees they charge you extra. And I tell you it's true. You know, it's true. So there is a complaint also gone to the central government and they are checking on it. They mean to say that if you are having an iPhone, that means your paying capacity is more, you pay more. So these are the things, these controls are coming to them, so they know what phone you are using. You understand the point? That these people like Ola, Uber know what phone you are using, and based on your phone configuration, they are configuring their rentals also. So these are the things which are happening now. Central government has taken cognizance of them and they are verifying this. So this may be happening not only iPhone, some other equipment also, you don't know. Maybe if you go to a hi-fi hotel or a 5-star hotel, they may charge you more also, so or some other way, or maybe even a restaurant. So these need to be checked. These are the challenges, you know, which we need to overcome, and this will keep on coming in some form or the other. And before you get swindled, see, you learn by mistakes only. So if you're making mistakes, you learn. So we need to be careful on this. So these are one of the major challenges which are coming with technology infusion in tourism. And I hope that the panel discussion which follows will throw some more light on this. And we have got experts like Milind sir, who is running travel company here, like Open Destination is one of the biggest in Goa. So he'll be able to give us more insights and how do we protect ourselves from this type of thing.
As we dive into the heart of today's event, we turn our focus to the role of technology in transforming the travel, tourism and hospitality industries. With the rapid advancements in AI, automation, virtual experiences and sustainable travel solutions, the impact of technology on this sector has never been more profound. But how do we strike the balance between innovative technology and the irreplaceable human touch that is the essence of hospitality? What are the emerging trends that will shape our industry's future? And how can we harness these innovations to create meaningful, sustainable experiences for both business and travelers? To guide us through these critical discussions, we have assembled an outstanding panel of experts, each bringing a unique perspective from their respective domains. Let's now hear from them as they share their insights on the future of travel, tourism and hospitality in this technology-driven era. As we now transition to the next segment, I would like to invite Mr. Anand Chatterjee, the Executive Director, Viking Ventures Hospitality Division, India. With over 2 decades of expertise in the hospitality industry, Mr. Anand leads Viking Ventures Hospitality Division with a visionary approach, combining operational excellence and innovative strategies. Under his leadership, the division has flourished, redefining luxury lifestyle experiences, expanding footprints, and setting benchmark in service standards across India. Passionate about delivering exceptional guest experiences and fostering sustainable growth, Mr. Chatterjee continues to drive the brand's legacy of excellence in the dynamic world of hospitality. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Milind Anvekar. He is the Senior Vice President at Open Destinations, a globally leading travel technology and services company headquartered in London with operations in Goa for the last 20 years. Open Destinations has been serving clients across 30 countries, empowering the travel and tourism industry with innovative technology solutions. In addition to his role at Open Destination, Mr. Anvekar is the president of the CIO Association of India, Goa chapter, where he promotes innovation and collaboration among technology leaders. He is also the past president of the Goa Technology Association, where he played an important role in building Goa's tech ecosystem and a trustee at the Vibrant Goa Foundation, contributing significantly to entrepreneurship, trade, and technology initiatives in the state. With a wealth of experience in both the technology and travel sectors, Mr. Anvekar brings valuable insight to how technology is shaping the future of travel, tourism, and hospitality. Moving forward, I would like to invite Mr. Varun Hegde, founder of Soul Traveling, an innovative travel company focused on offbeat experience-based journeys. After working with Tata Consultancy Services for 4 years, including a role in Frankfurt as an on-site coordinator with a multinational bank, Mr. Varun quit his job in 2017 and decided to follow his passion and founded Soul Traveling with Mr. Kedar Borkar, aiming to make travel an integral part of people's lives rather than a luxury. Since its inception in 2018, the company has catered over 35,000 plus travelers, offering unique local experiences with a global reach. Soul Traveling has been featured in leading magazines like National Geographic Traveler, Condé Nast Traveler, and Lonely Planet for its experiences. It was featured in Live Mint for curating one of the most unconventional trays in India. Soul Traveling played an integral part in hosting the G20 and India Energy Week delegates in Goa for offbeat experiences along with Goa Tourism. Soul Traveling is also empaneled with Goa Tourism as their official partner for experiential tours and treks. And to guide us through this engaging and enriching panel discussion, please join me in welcoming our esteemed moderator, Mr. Mangirish Salilkar, CEO and co-founder at Umang Group, to the stage.
I'm sure you all are set to listen to the gents out here. All these three people do not need introduction, yet Ashwini took the efforts. So thank you, Ashwini. Let me, we've been listening a lot about what's happening with tourism off lately in Goa. I'm going to avoid all these things in this session. So don't expect that we are going to talk anything about this. There's no masala happening. So it's going to be a very clear session about if anybody out here is in the process of starting something in travel, tourism or hospitality, this is a session for you. If anybody is expecting that how can he automate his existing businesses, this is a session for you. If at all you want to know the challenges of using technology also in your business, this is the forum for you. So let's make sure that we are all enjoying it. Let's make sure that everybody's phones are on silent and everybody's eyes are here. Post this session, once I'll give you a heads up, we'll be opening the forum for Q&A. So if anybody has any specific questions to anyone out here, please feel free. I am not purely from the travel, tourism, nor the hospitality side, but yes, any technology stuff, you can ask me also. So, are we all set? Okay, perfect. So, of course, technology first. So, I'll ask Milind the first question. Milind, we can be a bit informalish also. It's okay. So, Milind and I, we are good friends in the tech ecosystem of Goa. Of course, he started his career before me in the system, but his connection with me is beyond just being colleagues from the system. So, Milind, the first question goes out to you. I want the audience to know little about what's Goa and what's tech happening in Goa firstly, and what's your company, Open Destinations, doing. Who is Open Destination and who are these people who are doing this stuff from Goa? And you could also brief us something about what do you see is the touch which technology is giving to this industry beyond what we really see.
So, since you said informal, I like the way you mentioned to everyone that you're younger than me. But thank you so much for having me here, Mangarish. I think it's a very good initiative that Mangarish and his Future Tech events has put in place. Much required because it's, as he mentioned at the start, a lot of things happening in Goa, not many know about it. I think that was the sole reason we thought we should come together, sole reason. We came together, said that we need to build an ecosystem in Goa to talk for the IT industry and the startup that was booming up in the state at that point of time. And that's how the Goa Technology Association was born in 2017. Thereafter, you would have seen the IT policy and the startup policy, a lot of things being put in place. And it's booming today. And it's not that we didn't have anything at that point of time. We did have few of them, but no one knew. I think Mangarish was in his own space, we were in our own space, someone else was there. The whole idea was to get them together, work very closely with the academic institutions, and then also work with the government to make sure that we are working in a process of creating an ecosystem which will not only get everyone together, but also create the right set of opportunities for people in Goa and get an opportunity for someone who has gone out of Goa to come back to Goa. To a great extent, I think that has been successful. Company like ours, Open Destinations, Mangarish mentioned when he was talking that, how many of them know the IT companies that are in Goa. I think I would say that, maybe we are one of those few companies that many would be knowing, primarily because we are among those few people who are employing more than 500 people in the tech sector. But again, very honestly, they would not know what we are doing. Many of them, because of the name, think that Open Destinations is travel. Like very recently, I was talking to someone. They then, we know we are into technology, but you are something like Make My Trip. I said, no, we are not that. So we are a software development company, right? So I think that's how I would put it. The domain that we cater to is a travel segment. So Open Destinations is today the world's leading travel technology solution provider and also a very good and a leading service provider. Okay, so we work with some of the top tour operators in the world, destination management companies, large tour operators, OTAs, who will want to use our solutions to make sure that they are able to do a better solutions in their operational efficiency and make sure that they are able to cater towards a very profitable business. So we are a software solution provider which will help them increase the efficiency, streamline the processes, create a better way of doing the business, and see how you can make a difference in the travel segment. All of this is happening from Goa. So we are headquartered in London. We have a very small team there, but we have a major team sitting down here in Goa, and we are here for the last 20 years delivering to the world. So almost 20 years in Goa. This is our 20th year in Goa. 30 countries, different clients are being supported by the efforts of people who are in Goa. So almost 94% of our staff is Goan. Again, 46% of them are women. So I think it's something that we have worked towards making sure that we're able to deliver. When someone started a company in Goa, so our founders are from the European region. So Mr. Kevin O'Sullivan is the one who basically the brain behind entire Open Destinations as a company. Dev Pinto, he is again one of the co-founders, and he happens to be of Goan origin. And these two people were responsible for thinking about getting a company in Goa, not knowing how it will do, because Goa is equivalent to travel and tourism, right? And then here we are 20 years and growing, right? So I think that's something that Goa is being able to do silently, and there are many more stories like us. We have not only basically grown here, we have created opportunities for people from Goa to go outside and travel different places. We have allowed many of the tour operators who are our clients to come down to Goa. So I think everything is happening in a place like Goa. Okay, not many would be knowing because we are not really looking at marketing our company and efforts down here, right? So we don't have any clients in India, but today if you see right from Alaska to Peru to New Zealand and Australia, some of the top rail tour operators are using our system to manage the business. Some of the biggest tour operators like Abercrombie and Kent are using our system to manage their systems. And while we speak, our team is busy implementing the solution in Saudi and one in New Zealand. And these are all people from Goa, from our education system, who are able to build a product, support the system, and make sure that we have good stories to tell. So many of them actually now in Saudi already, some are traveling, and many will be traveling to New Zealand as well. So we do create these opportunities. So I think a place like Goa, have this companies like us who are doing this and are really in a position to share the experience and talk about what we can do for the ecosystem, and we're happy to do it. We hire a lot of people passing out from Goa, and I think there is a lot of things that we have understood, as a company, which made us basically relevant. That's basically that you have to change, right? And the reason for us being at that level we are, with the trends in the industry is because we've been able to keep pace with it. So like we started as a desktop-based solutions company, but then we realized that we have to change, so we came up with a browser-based solution, right? So that was the thing. So everyone wanted a browser-based solution. The next change thereafter was like, see, these servers and all are very expensive for us to hold. The hosted solutions is what we'll prefer. So we move on to being a hosted solution service provider, right? Then the next thing is like we want faster systems. So performance became a key thing. So everyone's looking for very fast response applications. And then the next thing that we moved into in the last 3-4 years is about how secure our systems, how secure is our data, right? So that's the next phase. And where are we today? What are we offering in terms of AI? So the new thing that we're working is also on AI, right? So this is where we basically are forced to evolve because the industry evolves. Like for me, from where I was seen into the travel, I had not really someone who's learned travel, who's come from a travel background. I started into a travel company, and that's the beauty of the techies, that you fit into any domain. So and then you learn the domain. But I think travel is vast. People who are aspiring to get into the travel business should definitely visit big events like the World Travel Mart, okay, which are happening. You will get an insight as to what travel is all about. So for me, Goa was, at that point of time, talking about 2005, which was very, very small in terms of travel business. It was mainly the travel agents that you've seen here. But the moment you get into this space today, you'll realize how much it has changed, right? Because from those travel agents you come tour operators, your packages, and almost everyone here, I think today knows using the tour operators and what are the various solutions that are available for you to find, because holiday itself has been redefined. So holidays during early 2000 was going to a relative's place or going for a religious function, for a temple visit or any kind of religious place, and then staying in lodge or things like that. Whereas today, no, it's about going and staying in a hotel. Right, you book a good resort, you build your own itinerary, you know these words, you identify what is to be done, and you're very selective, you know where you can get a good price, you get the best deals for yourself. So things are changing drastically, and this is going to change even further, with all the things that are there. But I think we probably have spoken, we heard the people earlier speak about various other aspects of it. I'm sure we will get an opportunity to talk more about the technology aspects of it, but definitely technology will keep on evolving. It is going to create more opportunities. IoT is going to come in, AI is there, AI is going to grow further. We have blockchain coming up already on the way. But I think the key thing everyone today is going to be basically focused on is security. Right, so while we adopt IoTs and all the other things, and I think rightly pointed out that we want a human touch. Very recently we had a session with Microsoft and our clients, wherein we do this client meets, one of the things that came up is, yes, from the client perspective is that, yes, we want technology, we want everything bots, but we don't want to lose out on the human touch, right? And everyone's very sensitive about it. So it will take some time to evolve in that particular space, but there are various other opportunities where you can use artificial intelligence. You see a lot of change in the entire travel landscape, right? From, I think every hotel in probably 5 years from now will have a helipad on top. I don't know, it'll call a helipad, it'll be basically called a drone pad, because I think that's going to be the next big thing happening. So I think, I'm sure we will get opportunities to talk, but I think just an example of a company like ours, how we've been basically in a place like Goa, and in the travel segment, we've seen those change, and there are many more in the travel space who are in Goa, who are in India, who see that as an opportunity. But I think it takes a lot of persistence, and commitment from your side, perseverance, commitment from your side, to make sure that you are able to basically be in the long-term race. Otherwise, you will find it difficult to beat pandemics like COVID that we had to go through, because for a company to survive during that time and bounce back, is not easy. A travel company, a technology company catering to the travel business, and likewise for the travel industry people, right? So I think, yes, it's a great thing to be in, and I'm glad that we are here talking about it.
So Milind, as you speak about pandemic, let me tell you, the whole world and the entire set of industries started adopting technology post pandemic. They realized that there's no point staying aloof. There were businesses which never had a website. They started having a basic website. People understood there's no point having desktop application, they need to move to web. People realized that mobile apps is the future. People realize that they have to get into this tech world, and the faster they adapt, the faster they grow. And that's what were the best side of pandemic. But let's not talk about the bad side about what happened during the pandemic. But Anand sir, coming to you, I'm sure it has been tough during the pandemic times. Let's not talk about it again, but let's talk about the good side of it, that people or hotels, restaurants, resorts like yours, they started adopting a lot of technology and started accepting that this is what is going to help us go to the next level. How differently did Planet Hollywood do this?
Well, thank you for bringing the topic and as a link forward, I would say. So, pandemic, of course, this is a generational circumstance that we faced, and it was quite changing for the entire humanity, I would say, humankind. And like all other businesses, hotels, hospitality business, travel and tourism, the face of it, the basic DNA of it went through a change. In terms of technology induction, I would say technology induction or adaptation was kind of delayed by the pandemic. As a matter of fact, quite a lot of things started changing around 2018-19 because of the advent of technology. The 2021-22 period actually delayed it, but at the same time, the pandemic allowed us to kind of evolve into new information storage kind of a thing. For example, when in India was very, very quite a path-breaking initiative we took through the application-based COVID vaccination data collection. So, as a matter of fact, one of the first things that we at the Planet Hollywood and our hotels, what we did was capturing those data of the vaccination status online instead of keeping a photocopy. So that was a very quick, easy solution that we could do. But I would say that it's not during the pandemic. Our company, as a matter of fact, embraces technology from its, we embrace technology from its beginning of our existence. A lot of our systems, we're quite advanced in that in terms of from our CCTV technology, number plate recognition to data storage to our website. Our website is a React based, which is very, very few hotel websites are React based. along with that, our property management system, our entire material management system, our revenue management system, our yielding, our rate offer, all these things are assisted through various tools. So we are very, very technology driven. I am not saying that all the kind of technology is good, because as much as possible, being a hotelier, I would like to give all of you personalized service. So I would actually like to know you by face, like face reading, as if that what are you thinking and what kind of a cocktail do you want. We were discussing that as an anecdote. But technology can actually let me do that. But too much of technology also is intrusion. So the beauty is that you use technology, but at the same time you train your team members to use the technology yet have the human touch. It's not that just the camera is recognizing you by face and has seen your Facebook profile or Instagram profile and found you taking a picture of yourself with a particular food, and you think that you like the food. Not necessary. It can go horribly wrong. So we train the staff to use technology, but yet keep the the human touch alive. And pandemic helped us to adapt. At the same time, I would say it also hindered by 2 years. We are extremely fast adopters of technology, and we are doing it faster.
You are an electronic engineer who has gone away from technology and entered into the travel and the tourism side. So how do you see technology influencing Goa, and if at all you use a lot of apps and websites and so other stuff or other tools yourself, can you suggest what do you think would be something which could change the scene in Goa, or what could be that app which could change the scene in Goa?
You invited me for a session. It was like tech in tourism, and I was thinking of a title for my autobiography. So this kind of fit in. I worked in IT for almost 4 years and then gone into tourism completely. So if I ever write a book, I think this is going to be mentioned somewhere there. But very interesting question about tech, about my journey. So I've worked in IT for 4 years. I've studied electronics and telecommunication engineering in Goa, and then switched completely to a tourism, a different profile, a different kind of way of life, I would say. But there were similarities. Even in Goa, I would say, in tourism in Goa, one thing is Goa always plays the A game of tourism. It's not something that we just make do with. We always compete with destinations which are international in stature currently. And I think that is one thing that Goa wants to keep going towards. It cannot, go back to comparing itself with other destinations which are not probably at that thing. And what I always say is, in IT, if you want like innovations, people think Bangalore as a thing, right? But if you think of tourism with the kind of infrastructure that has been built, if there is some sort of a unicorn coming out of tourism, I think Goa would be the right destinations with, the kind of infrastructure that Goa has. Okay. Now coming back to the apps that we use, I feel we always think of soul traveling or the things that we do, or experiential tourism is primarily driven by human touch. And that is the case where our front person, a person who kind of communicates with you, is the main person. But if you look behind the scenes, right, there is so much of it already been driven by technology. For example, I think companies like Open Destinations, what they've done very well is identified a very strong pain point in travel and tourism, which not necessarily be the front end for you, but it is solving a lot of problems at your back ends. So when innovations happen in that part of it, it can really take the tourism at that destination to the next level. Recently, TripAdvisor has done it with your AI. So AI is something that everyone talks about, right? But TripAdvisor has actually used it in a way where it has the data, it has all the itineraries of or the reviews about products, about customer data. You can just type in your few questions and they create 3-day, 4-day, 5-day itineraries for you. So I think AI has very, very strong implications which can be utilized. But the thing I feel is we talk about AI, but we don't know what AI is, right? I think
Milind will answer that in the next one.
yes.
Yeah.
So currently also we are trying to integrate AI in our backend services. Simple things like AI over WhatsApp, right? It can really help in certain communications and streamlining your backend services. I think that is one thing that I really want to see, where people kind of solve problems rather than just thinking of, you know, the next $1 billion idea. That's what I think a lot of people kind of go for. Secondly, you know, something which, I mean, it's just an idea, and this is out of the question that you asked me, what can be the game changer? A lot of us want to travel to different destinations, but there is no platform where, like you have social media, where you have Instagram, you have Facebook, which is a platform essentially for people as well as for creators, right?
So for all the viewers out here, we've got Varun Hegde who's telling us a business idea.
Okay.
So we need to be careful in what.
No, so basically this was, and again it is not, it just came to my mind now. So it is something of a cross between a social media platform and possibly, I mean, a platform like a Tinder. Okay, might be controversial, but on
Tinder is never controversial.
So basically on Tinder, you decide on whom you want to go on a date with, right? Similarly, there could be platform on whom you want to travel to certain locations with, and a platform which is used for socializing of travelers, right? Where you can post your stuff as travelers. It can be blogs about destinations, and also a platform of curators, because we realize that experience curators is something like a big platform, right? So curated itineraries, curated experiences. So platform which can take care of all of this could be something very interesting, and if it is developed in Goa, maybe by Umang, that will be something very interesting to see. But yes, what I'm saying is let's have that cutting edge ideas. The whole discussion need to be something more than what is already existing, right? So that's what I think would be very interesting.
Absolutely. I think that's something as a pain point I understand from your side. And, you know, we will listening, you just said about AI. We know a little bit about what you said is also something called as robotic process automation, like RPAs, and we've got AI, ML, all these things which are happening. Milind, I'll come to you. I want you to just brief the audience little about how do you think this AI buzz, which we are all talking about, is it going to disturb the job market in the entire segment of this industry, or maybe it creates more opportunities? What do you think? Your take on this? Maybe Anand sir, if you have something on this, you can please add later.
Okay, for me, AI as of now is the most happening buzzword. Okay, it's going to be very short-lived. Because it's going to be one of the things, right? And it's going to go from artificial intelligence. Today, I think most of us will be basically talking about generative AI. Okay, again, it's going to go to an hyper AI and things like that. Okay, so for me, it's AI is amazing innovations. Okay, and there are a lot of tools which are built on top of AI. So there are very few people who will be actually creating those learning models. But there are going to be many users and applications that will be built on top of those, right? And that's going to be something that's going to grow very fast. And you'll be spoiled for choices. Okay, so everyone just knows ChatGPT, but I think there are many more PTs that are going to be there. They're already there, right? It's about what to use, what not to use, and what to rely, what not to rely on. It's going to be a biggest challenge, right? I think, see, when you had Google, you're very happy. I can search and get. I don't have to go to a dictionary or go to a library, find out things. I have a platform, just type in things and it'll give you things, right? Then comes ChatGPT, wherein you just write and it will just give you, what you want, so no overheads of searching and finding all of it, you just get it there. So what happens is, and for a younger generation, sometimes it's a concern because you tend to basically go with what is given to you, right? And someone tries to superimpose things onto you, and in the process could just end up killing your own process. So I use the tools, but most of the time I will probably, first make an effort to write down my thoughts first, give that as inputs. And that's very unfortunate because many people know ChatGPT and then they feel that when I put in, I get my things. But if you see that person or that tool is something that you have to learn how to use, there's a concept called as prompt engineering, how to write prompts. and there's a way you do it. So for example, sometimes you have to give a full learning to a particular system as to what is the background context to it, what are the rules, what are the players, all of it, and then build what exactly you want it to do. And there is a beauty of that system that it can give you all of it with options, right? No one wants to take that effort to learn that. I think my recommendation, because many people I see here are basically the young guys, the youth of tomorrow, I think it's about making sure you learn the system well. Once you get the basics right, I think you will get more output to you. Coming to Varun's point about the idea, I think there are some things like this already there in the system. Like for example, if I'm going on Kayak and trying to search from A to B, it will not only tell you the price of the flight from A to B, will also show you in some other areas around it how much will it cost you. Okay. Similarly, there's one more, if I'm not mistaken, Expedia. I think one of the sites when you're traveling from A to B, it actually takes your Facebook details and identifies which of your friends are there in those localities, right? And say whom all can you connect and meet at that point of time. So it's a very nice and interesting thing. Like for example, if you,
Nice, but it's dangerous also.
see, that's where we are into. So like while we speak, you have your phone, probably your phone is recording all of it, right? And it's a very common thing. Everyone say, "Arey, I just thought about this and I can just see ads or reels about this," right? So I think someone is listening and no one knows how to put that off. You need to put your mic off for Facebook and things like that. Similarly for ChatGPT.
Put your phone off.
Sorry?
You just need to put your phone off.
Yeah, that's where you need to go soul traveling. I'm doing a lot of branding for you today. So I think, see, it's very important. ChatGPT also, there are ways by which you have to put certain settings so wherein your data will not be shared with someone else, right? So I think those things are sometimes not known. See, tools are there. It's about how knowledgeable you are, how you basically select the tool and basically live with those tools, and how do you make sure that you don't get empowered with tools. Because all of a sudden, think of a life without internet, guys. What happens to you all? Just imagine, 1 week you have to live without an internet. Okay, this thought actually struck to me because I was basically stranded once, right? And I didn't know what to do, and you're completely stuck because ATM runs on power. There was no power, okay, and this was in Kashmir, by the way, okay. There was a first snowfall when we were all stuck, and no power, no ATM, no money, and only hard cash works there, right? At that point of time, mobiles were not working, only postpaid was working, but then because of the snowfall, I think almost everything was down. So we basically think during those time what pandemic for me has been the biggest teacher, right? We learned so many things for yourself, for the organizations during that time. So I think for me, we have to also see how things change and see the ability to basically bounce back. The industry basically was its peak when pandemic struck, and see, we decide not to speak about pandemic, but I think we come to it because I think there's been most valuable lessons that we got for us, right? So at that point of time, we were in a world of uncertainty. We didn't know what would happen. The travel industry at its peak just comes down, and today it is just all set to kick off in a very, very strong way, right? So I think what is going to happen is while we're talking about a lot of technology and all of things happening around, that's an experience for you, but you will come to a point wherein you will realize that you want to be amidst nature, you want to have people around whom you can talk to. So we are in some point of time, we may not talk about this, but maybe one session, Mangirish, you may have to do under this forum is about, I think there is going to be a need for you to get out of this social, trap there you are into, right? So we talk about drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and we are unknowingly, all of us, in the phase of social media addiction, right? And that's not going to be easy to get out of it, right? And you tend to then believe what you see. Like you will see a shack just promoting on social media, and you'll say, oh, this is a wonderful place, we have to definitely go here, do it, because someone from outside is talking about it. And this, it just happened. I saw, this place looks familiar, and it was just one of a small shack on the roadside, right? So, but they promote, and people do go all the way there. You see how people are promoting and using the platform. You should know how to promote it and get good business. I think if you're all entrepreneurs, looking to basically excel, watch Shark Tank. You learn something, some creative ideas coming out from there. So I think, see, technology and AI in particular, if you're talking about, it's going to be a craze today. It's going to change. We are talking about personalization with AI today. We are going to be heading towards hyper personalization, okay, which is almost about anything and everything about an individual will be known. We are going to get away from mobile phones. Mobile phones, you're basically having here in another 5 years max, or probably 10, you can take it, but there'll be no mobile phones, right? You're going to head towards wearables. Like for example, you're already having glasses glasses coming, right? So you know, that's going to give you everything. Like if I meet you, for example, and I'm not able to recollect who you are, my glasses can tell, it can scan, it can tell me who you are. So you know, like, oh, so you're happy that I know you, and you are you know, not in that embarrassing situation which most of the time we tend to get into. So wearables is the next thing, and the next after that is basically you're going to get inserted with a chip. Yeah. Neural. So I think just imagine at the time of your birth, you know, a child, besides all the vaccinations, also gets a chip inserted into it. So you know, where are we heading, right? So I think
definitely
if you
upgrade our memory.
memory extension slots. So it actually does. It actually does, because when you use these tools, right, it actually frees up quite a lot of things. And you see, just experience this once. You go to a holiday, capture the moments on a photograph. You basically know that someone has captured that, and you can go and revisit it. And you go to a holiday without a photograph, you will remember it. Right, I think that's the time when we are in the pre-phone eras, right? We remember things. So I think from AI perspective, it is a thing. All of you have no. Sorry, I think I missed to answer your question about jobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just 2 minutes on that. I think as far as jobs is concerned, I think jobs will be lost. Okay, I don't want to deny that, but new jobs will be created, right? So I think we've seen it in the banking sector. A lot of hue and cry when banks were talking about ATMs, right? So did come in place, we had no option, but banks did come in. Now in the last 3-4 years, how many times do you go to an ATM also, right? How many of you all use digital payments, right? So ATMs are also slowing down. So things are changing. I think it's going to happen. You have to make sure that you are empowered with tools and technology, with AI or anything, so that you are relevant in the industry. Okay, so as every individual has to upskill yourself so that you are relevant, I think that's going to be a key thing for everyone. You just need to make sure that you don't, see, this is going to be too much of things for you to learn everything, but if you learn basic things, keep yourself upgraded. See, today you don't have to teach a young guy, you know, how to use a mobile phone. Right, initially maybe, or a computer, for example. I remember after my 10th I did computer fundamentals program. Okay, it was a big thing. So I think today that is not the thing. Everyone by default knows how to use a computer, right? Similarly, a mobile phone. I think even after 6 months or so, even a child knows that, you know, you have to swipe right and left and top and down kind of a thing, right? So I think people are learning. So by default, you know, it's coming into them that this is an application. They don't know to read, but they know how to use it. They don't know the challenges with it. So I think every individual today has to make sure that you learn and know what is happening, but make sure you learn something very well, so that you know the details about it, rather than just knowing it at a very, very high level, because then you can be fooled, right? So I think it's very important that knowing that jobs will be lost, but if you skill yourself in the right way, similarly if your staff is getting upskilled regularly, you can actually protect the jobs and actually create good opportunities for them. Because in a world of tomorrow, you will not have people who have learned something doing only that job. It could be anyone doing anything, right? Say for example, he's done his engineering, but he's doing travel. Okay, I studied a master's in computer science, but again into the technology in the travel. Okay, so I think anyone and everyone could do anything. It's just about making sure that you do it with lot of heart, lot of passion, and I think if the intent is right, only good things will happen from that.
And I think with an example where that intent of adding tech to tourism is done very well by Fire, and we've got the COO Tejas from Fire Incubation Center, who are focusing on tourism tech, and which is something which is the next thing. And maybe later when we are having the Q&A, we could learn more from Tejas also what they are doing. But as we talk about smart, you were talking about AI and talking about smart city and something like that. And I was just understanding that a lot of this Panjim people of lately are using technology to move around also, that they need to go Google and see which side to go, left, right, while they are in the smart city. So that's a new challenge which technology again is solving. So going to while smart city, we know smartphones. I was just doing a little Google research because I need to ask smart questions to the smart gentleman who is sitting out there. So I read about something called as smart rooms. So new thing for us, new thing for me, not for you. But maybe you could just throw some light on what exactly are the smart rooms, which may be going to change people's experience while they enter into a hotel or a resort.
Thank you. Firstly is, one important point is how smart is smart. Because today's smart is tomorrow's dumb. So I remember the first hotel in India to have television was the Oberoi New Delhi, if I'm not wrong. So very smart hotel, I would say. So they were smart then. And so like that, at most of the hotels currently, we are smart enough in few things like lighting. From a guest interface point of view, we are smart enough to have control where there are two things. One is that reduction of human interaction in some cases, so that you have, instead of asking too many questions, you can explore yourself, because we are used to exploring things on our devices. So we provide devices through which you can, without asking the concierge or the in-room dining, you can see the photographs of food, you can control your lighting, you can use your personal media hub onto the onto our entertainment hub, in the sense television and other things. Apart from that, so that's kind of way smart, and but behind all these things, we are also smart. I mean, many hotels are smart also in terms of energy efficiency. For example, a guest has come in and increased the temperature because he finds it too cold. So the system is smart enough through the building management automation systems and all, where when the guest puts in card back, because the temperature goes down again, but when he puts in cards back in, it goes up automatically. So you're smart enough to kind of control and also save energy. Then hotels are getting smart enough to, these are very, again saying dumb smart, I would say. I mean, they're basic tools which we use, like your movement control and your lights, or your air conditions are, it's called variable frequency drive driven. It is sensing people through your camera. Camera has the AI, how many people are there in the room. So it's telling the air conditioning system to operate at a particular efficiency. But I would say these are very dumb smart things, because they're very basic. And as a matter of fact, all the technologies from the basic levers and the tools and the machines, the first time when we got into the so-called internet and computation from a calculator to a faster computing skills, that was a leap. But they're all tools, all AI tools, generative, ML, DPS, everything, LLMs, everything is a tool now, at a tool level, application level. So it's basically not thinking, it's just doing a basic thoughts by itself. We used to have something called, in our laundry, for example, at Planet Hollywood, we bought the laundry automation system. So it was fuzzy logic, apparently. So great, but they're all basic data-driven tools. Where we are heading to, or may head to, is the agent. Agent in the sense, AI is not a tool. Proper AI is an agent. For example, you have a sniffer dog. Now, you can teach for example, our hotel has it's a smart hotel technology. When you're coming inside the hotel, of course, you have the detection system. I'm talking about the extra machine, the baggage scanner. Now, baggage scanner is updated to learn or recognize things faster, so that the human who's behind it can recognize it even faster through patterns. For example, I'm sure you've seen it in the airports also. If you have a lot of wires in a particular manner, it'll catch, because you may have a bomb assembly, things like that. So keeping that in mind, but that's again a tool. But a sniffer dog is an agent. It's thinking on its own. It's not a tool. Now, a true AI which is going to come, it's evolving, or maybe it's come, I don't know it. It's learning through the distillate of information. We've just seen the DeepSeek R1 doing a fab job in very cheap stuff, as usual. Chinese have done it. And so the real tools which will come in, real agents which will come in the hospitality industry possibly would be such that you will have influencers influencing you without knowing that somebody is influencing you. Now that's going to be a game-changing thing. I would like to possibly invest or work on it, be a technology leader in the aspect where you are being influenced. It's a very, I would say, ulterior way of talking about it. But as a businessman, possibly somebody will do it for sure. We are all, I mean, everybody is trying to influence without you knowing that you're being influenced. So a proper AI system in the hospitality will have these things. And however scary it may seem, the Homo sapiens is a replaceable species. Please understand that. I mean, don't have any fancy that we are superior. There are, it just, 300,000 years we've been so-called superior. The world has been there for 7.2 billion years. So yeah, that's the kind of a scare part. But in the meantime, from a hospitality point of view, things like immersive technologies, like we are using it, we are selling our rooms or weddings to a guest before coming to the hotel. I mean, not only us, many hotels do it through, wearable devices where I'm letting the guests experience the hotel, where I'm present possibly on a call. And so yeah, these are many technologies and tools that we use.
AR, VR.
AR, VR, yeah. Augmented reality and virtual, yeah, correct, reality, yeah, correct.
Okay, so
thanks.
We're talking about a lot of these things on tech. Yeah. Enough of tech now. So tell me firstly, this tech, is it easy to implement? Do you think, again, I'm not creating controversies here, but do you think people accept this change and adapt technology very easily? I'm talking about the people's mindset, number one, and number two, about implementation in organizations when you already have systems, processes, SOPs, everything in place, which are systematically running, beautifully running, yet you know that a little automation or digitization can help you become more effective.
It's any changes, of course, it's a pain because we are generally, it's called, change inertia. So we are all subject to that, no doubt about it. It needs, of course, various levels of interventions at various points to manage that. But at the same time, what is more important is through this particular change or hyper-personalization or so, how do we maintain that particular, privacy? We are just about to see the DPDP Act. It's going to hit us in a couple of months. I mean, we've been part of the GDPR for a couple of years now, but we use information blatantly without knowing what can it cause. I mean, we are sending information about your ID. Every hotel we check in, we give our Aadhaar card, and they're just taking a picture. How they are storing it, we don't even know. So yes, those things, and we are using technology. Previously, what used to happen is that we used to write a letter addressed to somebody, and the guest information used to be stored. That's it. But right now, every agent of the hotel is using their own mobile to possibly store data. How is it going? Where is it going? We don't know. So yeah, that's the kind of a change management that we are highly focusing on, and it's scary that we need to be very smart and fast to be able to do that. Also, I mean, I see a time will come when luxury will be where I can travel with a complete installation, data installation. Air, what do you call air gap? You call it air gap, right? In machines, that you do air gap a machine so that you don't have technology infiltration. Yeah. So how do we possibly, that's an opportunity possibly, how do we create a travel plan where you're air gapped with your data, that nobody knows where you're traveling, you are 100% incognito, so that is going to be a possibly new luxury, because today if I go somewhere, everybody knows I'm there. I'm not talking about that, or you're a celebrity or anybody's a celebrity, but the fact is somebody is tracking, at least your phone knows. But how do we air gap our travel? How do we air gap our experience? These are the possibly thoughts that I open to the young entrepreneurs and people like you, Tejas, who are there.
Another business idea. Yeah.
Sure. Another business idea. Yeah. Fire.
Yeah.
I can just add from the other perspective.
Yeah.
You asked about implementation and the challenges.
Even I would like to understand your side later.
Yeah, so I think, see, we are a software solution provider, services provider. So one of the key thing for us is when someone agrees or decides that, this is the software we want to work with, our responsibility is to implement that and make sure that it is successfully done. So it's not that it just taken off the shelf and you deploy it and use it. It requires a lot of time with the clients, understanding the different stakeholders, making sure that you go through various phases. So it's a process. So those probably who are new to it, the entire process is involved. So we have a team which is an implementation team whose job is to onboard new customers. So consultants are functionally very sound. They understand the domain, the requirements. They would see how best I could configure my software to the needs of the clients, so that the entire thing is very well done. So when you're talking about implementation, first and foremost, there are organizations where there is a lot of resistance to change, because a new system coming in means that I have to relearn a lot of things which I'm already used to doing in a certain way. I may have to do it differently. Secondly, there is also a thought process that when you're going to be implementing a new system, I could potentially lose my job, right? So with that, there is no proper cooperation at times onto it. Okay, so we dealt with these aspects also. Then there are other side of people who are very excited. A new system is coming in. We'll be able to simplify certain processes. So I think that aspect is there. I think luckily for us, we had more of those customers who are more excited to have a system in place, because see, we don't go through a very straightforward buying of the product. We go through a lot of international bidding, and then the top 3 are selected, and go through various rounds of negotiations, and then finally they sign up on to a particular system, and then the process starts. So we know a date when they want to go live with, and travel is very seasonal, right? So you get only certain time to deliver. So mantra has been build a capability so that you're able to deliver. Okay, and when you deliver in that hurry, that you know that there might be some problems, so you need to make sure that you're able to support it very strongly. So one of the key thing for us, build a 24/7 customer support service. But we also have now an entire business outsourcing unit, right, which does back office job for the clients, right? So like Jet2 Holidays in London, the entire back office is in Goa. Not many will know about it. Yeah, so we are doing it for them. Danata, a lot of work happens in Goa. So I think a lot of this happens. So there is fear when you're trying to do an implementation, but this is one of the profiles that are there in the industry, which are implementation consultants. Their job is to implement a solution, and that's where their skill to be a very successful implementation consultant is, because you can actually get a chance to travel. Secondly, you're brand ambassador for a company to create that repo, and then you understand that domain. So I think those who are exploring, as those things will also come in. And it's to be something that you can always consider to be that. And there are companies who are like implementation companies for solution providers. So you said you don't have your team, we will be that team for you. We will do the implementation support for you all onto it. So these are all subset of opportunities that exist, where companies also exist and individuals also who exist onto that. So that was from the tech side of it.
Thanks, Milind. Do you also think there are challenges, or do you think it's easy to implement tech in?
From all industries point of view, and of course there will be challenges, but that the requirements have changed, and it is but needed to have the changes. Now I'll talk from a Goa or a soul traveling point of view. For us, apart from the team that we have, we also work with, as an industry, a lot of stakeholders who are not maybe businesses. I mean, a lot of times it is difficult for them to get onto a technology platform, because for example, we are going into people's homes, right? People are showing us their homes, or people are showing us small businesses which are getting on board. People have kuragars, which we are showing. How can you make sure that that person understands technology and gets onboarded with it, right? So for us, apart from just getting them on board, the education part is also very important, and that becomes a very tricky part, especially in tourism in Goa right now. I mean, though a lot of things are changed, like hotels are the first one to kind of integrate a lot of new technology in them, because they have the scope, they have worked with professionals at all points of time. But sometimes what happens with community hosts, it becomes making sure that whole education happens becomes a little tricky, and for them to get benefits of it, our team has to understand first the technology part and then pass it on to them. So that is one of the major challenges I feel that implementing technology comes on, because even from a tourism point of view, right, we always talk of I think one of the most common heard of things in Goa is solving the cab problem, right? I think almost everyone in the room wants the cab problem solved, for sure, in Goa.
Of course.
Yes. Absolutely. But we always think of, okay, getting Ola and Uber in Goa will solve the cab problem.
I was told we've got the president of the All Goa Cab Association out here in the audience today.
Absolutely. And that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you're talking of a solution which is, you're just thinking of the technology point of view, but think of the implementation also. You need to actually think of the implementable solutions. You need to actually go out with the cab drivers and talk and understand the solution of it. Because you get Ola, Uber tomorrow, it might not work. It might not be a practical solution, right? So technology has to be implementable. That's what has to happen, I feel, where you need to actually go to the ground and understand the implementation of it. So to answer your question from a broader tourism point of view, I think a lot of times we just look for that, we just look for that $1 million idea and we feel that it will work everywhere. We just want to copy it here. But if you look at ground solutions, if you look at those gaps, and I think I really like the first part of it, listen. I think a lot of us are interested in talking a lot, but if you just listen and act right, I think this will solve a lot of those implementation problems. And we have tried to do it with our companies and trying to get all the hosts on one platform. Today, a lot of them are kind of in the formal system. They are following certain technology things. They are following certain financial things. So slowly structuring this economy is something that we look at a broader scale of experiential tourism.
So listen, act and excel is a mantra, not just for the audience out here or the viewers of the episode who will be watching later. It's also for the government, because at the end of our session we're going to present a paper of what we have discussed to the department, telling them these are some things which you can do for the betterment. So, and I think going next, or you can, any one of you all, this is the last question for the panelists out here.
But before you go there, can I just add one more use case when you're talking about implementation? See, one of the problem that we identified in the solution implementation is the time that the client takes to test your system, right? It's a process, as I said. So you have a test system, you test it, then sign it off, and then move it to production because there's a downtime and things that you need to manage. Now, one of the things that we've been doing is working with the clients to identify what are the business use cases. Make sure that we help them if they're not able to do it. Some of them do it on their own. They document the entire test cases, and some of the tour operators are very well equipped with the people and the processes, so that they know what they need to sign off from the usage perspective, so that there is uninterrupted solutions and services being offered to their clients and their agents. So wherever they are not, we are able to offer that as a service, get those documented. Next step we do is, we offered initially as a service that we will test it for you, so that when you give it to you, your time to test will reduce and your go live time will reduce, right? What we've done is, now we've basically reduced our efforts on manual. We've gone into an automation mode, right? So most of the cases now getting automated. So a person can then define his flows. We get those tested. The advantage is not automatically testing it. It allows you to test it multiple times, right? And then make sure to deliver it. What happens is the quality of service becomes better. And from the end user's perspective, they find a lot of benefits in getting a system which is tested with less number of issues to deal with, therefore reducing their time to upgrade, right? Because upgrade is a challenge. That's another challenge most of them face is, upgrading. Like even maybe for us, what we see phone upgrade and all is different, but when you're talking about system upgrade, that's another aspect altogether. And that's where I think another opportunity exists for people who want to pick up the testing or the automation space, not only from a tech side of it, but from your respective hotels or whoever is from the travel segment. How well you document the cases from your business use cases, which you can automate and save a lot of time for yourself.
As we're talking about, going to the last question, we're talking about losing of jobs with AI and so on. The thing what's happening of lately, even in the tech industry or the IT industry, is there's, the job of a tester is going to go. Okay. Everything is automated today. That is what is going to, and of course programming. Now the time which is taken to do a programming, today ChatGPT gives me a code in 1 second, 2 seconds. That's the speed at which we get some code snippets. Okay, cool. Milind, to all the panelists out here, quick one-liner or two-liners. What do you think government, the tech industry can together do to uplift the using technology to uplift the tourism, travel, and the hospitality industry?
Me?
Yes, starting with you first, because you're technology.
Yeah. 2 lines is a challenge. because there's so much to do, in this particular space. See, first and foremost, Goa is blessed. If you're talking about Goa, Goa is blessed with natural resources. And if you see most of it, the tourism has been one of the biggest contributor to the economy. And I think it has happened because of the natural resources that are there. What have we done to protect them? What have we done to create something which is of, going to be of interest to attract people here is something that we need to really look at. So I think it's very important that we have a very collaborative policy in place through which we know that we are exploring the right set of opportunities and constantly evolving. Like for example, people talk about negatively on social media about tourism in Goa. Okay, it does a lot of harm. Okay, but there are a lot of good things which probably we're not able to promote in that way. So I think it's very important we do that. But I think from the government perspective, they need to really look in terms of how do we get the right perception and how do we tackle some things. You mentioned about the cap problem, right? That's something really bad outside in terms of the perception. Oh, it's very expensive. Taxes are very expensive. People charge ad hocly. So how do we solve that? We are literally not letting a particular company enter a Goa. Like Ola, Ubers are not allowed because there is one particular union not allowing. Okay, what is the message we are giving out? By doing so. I am not basically want to raise any point just for discussion on it, but I think from a comment perspective, that thought process is required as to what is our say onto it. Are we saying no, you're not welcomed in this, or you're going to allow some people to just lobby onto it? There is a story about very high prices. How are you going to control it? Okay, how are you going to manage? I know we have a system which talks about dynamic pricing into a system, but at times, I feel it's just too much. People are today saying it's traveling to Vietnam and is much cheaper than coming to Goa, right? So how are you making sure that Goa still remains at elite position? So what is your thought process? What is your strategy? Thirdly, I think we have been talking about work from Goa from a tech side of it as a very good thought process, because during pandemic again it gave us a new thought process, work from Goa, very good. But on the other hand, what are we doing? We are allowing people to work from home, but then we are going and cutting off all the internet cables, right? So I think that cannot happen. So it just does not give the right message out. So I think we need to make sure that we are having a very, very clear thought about how we want to do it. What are we doing to protect the environment? What are we doing to save water? What are we doing to show that we are responsibly using technology? And more importantly, how are you going to protect and preserve the entire environment that we have by creating ecotourism, right? So I think we have to see how things are changing. For example, pleasure is a new thought that is running around in the travel market, which is about business and leisure. So people come for business, they will then continue their holidays here. Plus, they are then extending the holiday by a month because they can now work from anywhere, right? So they prefer doing that from Goa. So people book hotel rooms for a longer duration. So I think, how do we cater to this? So many people are coming down to Goa, international people are coming who are happy to be in that space, enjoy and live the life their way they want. With lot of road network becoming so good, we will see a lot of inflow of domestic tourists coming down, okay? And because of the entire highway, it is expected that on an average, a person who would spend 3 nights in Goa is just going to turn to 1 night, in another 1 or 2 years of time. What does it mean to that ecosystem? So I think we need to really look in terms of what are we looking collectively. I'm saying from a government perspective, and there might be a thought happening, I'm not aware about that. But I think from someone who is from Goa, I see there is an opportunity there for us to look at it. I have been advocating for Goa to have one sort of a attraction centers, like how we have the Universal Studios in Singapore, which gives a reason for someone to come down to Goa with families. Okay, so I think Goa also can create a right reason for people to holiday in Goa. Beach obviously is something that we all know, but can we create something like that rather than just flooding with only casinos all throughout? The other thing I'm a very strong advocate for is having Goa to be the tech event destination. The entire thought process is that when you're doing an international tech events in Goa, we will have a lot of international people who can come to Goa. When they can come down to Goa, technical guys, okay, when they
about quality
international tourists coming down to Goa, when they come down to Goa, you can obviously get them to basically share their thoughts, talk about what Goa is all about. I'm sure anyone who comes down to Goa will love Goa. Talk about what we have to offer in terms of policies, why they can consider starting their satellite office in Goa, or how they can work or send their staff to work from Goa, how they should probably come down to Goa on regular basis, and then also allow them to interact with the youth of Goa. So because if you're creating an ecosystem, you just need to make sure that you understand what's happening. Like for example, if hotel industry is booming, how many people were how many professionals you're building in Goa who can service in that particular segment. It does not work just like that, right? If you're thinking about an electronic city in Goa, you need to make sure that first you need to start an education system through which you get people to study that. Then make sure that by the time they pass out, you have invited the right set of industries to come and set up here, so that they don't go out for jobs, but they have opportunities in Goa itself. And when would the companies come and set up the office here? When they know that there are resources and manpower available here to work, right? Today, the are going out of Goa to study itself, because we are not offering anything more than the standard basic engineering programs or any other graduation programs. So I think it's very important for us to look at this holistically from education perspective, from the infrastructure perspective, and from the tourism perspective as to how we want to be different. Because it's a world of data, it's a world of social media, it's more a world about influence. And I think the way things are changing, it's very important. I know government takes its own time, but I think we require a very strong vision, and we need to do it in a very, very time-bound manner, so that we actually capitalize on this opportunity and go and make sure that we are able to see the Goa that we envision to be, we love to be part of. And I think that's very much possible. And I'm sure these forums that you build, Mangarish, I think are the good forums wherein we could probably share some thoughts, get to listen through these views. And I like your idea of creating a white paper out of this and sharing with the people, because I think if someone can work onto this, I think there is a great opportunity for us to create a Goa to be known for the right reasons, and I think something that we can always continue to be proud about.